Primetime News with Israel Lai.
Good evening and you're welcome to the Primetime News here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Israel Lai, and coming up in this edition, final IEA organized presidential debate postponed to Wednesday in observation of 5 days of mourning for late Vice President. NDC, at its setting the record straight news conference, has accused the MPP of a grand scheme to make it unpopular with religious bodies. The MPP, meanwhile, at its own news conference, is questioning President's commitment to fight corruption. 2.5 billion people do not have easy access to a clean toilet as the world observes 2012 World Toilet Day. And the only daughter of the late Vice President has been speaking about his father's demise in an exclusive interview with Joy News. All these and more coming up in the bulletin. In our very first story, the Electoral Commission has interacted with parliamentary candidates in selected municipal assemblies in the Greater Accra region. The meeting is to acquaint them of the EC's preparation so far and also to address the candidates' concerns ahead of next month's polls.
The dialogue is to enhance the credibility and the fairness of the Electoral Commission before, during and after the polls. It also seeks to offer first-time candidates the opportunity to be educated on the electoral process.
Give them the platform to express their concerns about issues agitating their minds, and also create acquaintances with them so that in times of need they can call us electronically or contact us at our offices. And from the questions that were coming from the floor, has actually told us that the message has gone down well and the objectives have been appreciably, achieved.
Deputy Chairman of Operations in charge of the Greater Accra region, Kwadwo Kantanka, educated the aspirants on the electoral process.
If an agent refuses to sign, he or she must give reasons in writing there and then, because there's a section there. Say, I'm not signing because of this or that. But it must be done there and then. That is at the polling station and not sometime later. At times, people go and sleep and dream of an excuse before they return and say, I'm now. If you have any reason for which you will not sign the result slip, just tell them there and give your written reasons. And this explains why you need to send agents who can read and write.
Some members who expressed various concerns, including provisions made for persons with disability, were satisfied with the answers given by the electoral officers.
I'd like to take this opportunity to inform my brothers and sisters who are fiscally challenged like me that they shouldn't worry. There's provisions has been made by the EC so they can go ahead and vote.
It has made us to express ourselves and anything that we do not understand. And I think, in my own view, it's a very good thing.
Others were also worried about some of the provisions made by the EC.
One thing is about electricity. They shouldn't give electricity corporation. They shouldn't believe in them because I don't think they are reliable. Then maybe we change it.
I raised issues about giving out the names of our polling agents way ahead of time. I think that there has been conscious attempts by some parties to put it mildly, corrupt agents.
3 municipal assemblies, Ablekuma, Ayawaso and Okankwe, took part in the exercise out of the 20 municipal assemblies in the region. Out of the 84 expected participants, only 64 made it to the dialogue. The dialogue will continue till all the 20 municipal assemblies are covered.
Well, the Electoral Commission says it is bent on following the regulations stated in the CI 75 on special voting, but says there is still a way the media can vote early.
The deputy chairman in charge of operations, Safo Kantanka, in an exclusive interview with Joy News said the law does not permit the EC to allow the media to take part in the special voting.
The law has categorically stated that only two categories of voters can apply for special voting, and these are the election officials and the security officials who are connected with the conduct of the election. Apart from that, I do not see where any group. First, there were other groups which were also catered for, but as at the moment, I'm not too sure. And I don't know, unless maybe we think further, but legally there seems to be a barrier.
He urged the media to take a cue from the arrangement being made for some polling agents who will not be part of the special voting.
Get the list of your agents, send it to the district officer. He will give a letter to your agents to go very early to their polling stations and vote very early so that they can leave. That is not in any book or law, but I think looking at the exigencies of the situation, that is a way whereby they can also go and vote early and go and perform their other things.
Meanwhile, printing of voters' register is still ongoing, according to the EC officials, and distribution will start today. Information reaching Joy News indicates the Eastern Region Biometric Voters Register is ready for distribution.
Executive Director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrea Wune, a former presidential press secretary under the MPP, has questioned why some aspiring political leaders whose integrity have come under serious questioning still go about their campaigns as if integrity is less important in winning elections. This attitude, according to Andrea Wune, could potentially jeopardize the country's future. He was speaking at a news conference in Accra at the close of the 2012 Freedom Power Lectures.
Andrew Awuni cited a series of allegations against public political figures which have been swept under the carpet, making it difficult for voters to decipher between the good and bad politician.
All these allegations are in the media and they are in the public domain. They are on the World Wide Web. The world has read them and awaits official responses, and yet none has come. But the individuals these allegations have been made against know the truth. They have a responsibility to help clear any doubts in the minds of the voting public.
These allegations include impropriety in the acquisition of military equipment, including an aircraft, where the allegers claim late President Mills commissioned an investigation into the procurement, naming members of the commission, an investigation which never occurred. Also, an allegation about a £10 million loan for the development of the Ghana oil palm that never arrived in the country remains unanswered. He also cited allegations of impropriety in the procurement of fire equipment for the Ghana Fire Service and some stolen diplomatic passports which have not been dealt with, although they are widely published on the internet.
Some sections of the media, which is supposed to be the gatekeeper, have become surrogate pugilists for the political class. The politicians don't need to be careful about what they do. All they need is to have the right media friends, and they will be protected.
According to him, former President Rawlings's prediction of monetization of our democracy while compromising integrity and competence has come to pass in recent times.
When former President Jerry John Rawlings took his turn at the Freedom Power Lectures last month, he spoke about the monetization of our democracy and said the phenomenon has the potential of compromising competence and the leadership of integrity. As he predicted, today there is a massive vote buying exercise going on across the length and breadth of our country.
The Freedom Power Lectures, which commenced in June 2012, ends this month for the December elections. It has so far dealt with topics such as truth, integrity, and democracy, how Ghana is faring, political patronage of the private sector in Ghana, realities and illusions, among a host of others.
Since 2000, the Institute of Economic Affairs has provided platforms for presidential candidates to market their programs and policies on various issues affecting the populace. 12 years on, this battle of ideas has gained such popularity that some Ghanaians actually depend on it to be informed about how political parties intend to tackle their problems. But do the debates really influence the way people vote? Some students of the University of Ghana have been sharing their thoughts with Joy News.
Well, personally, it wouldn't influence me much, but really I don't think it should influence me much because it's about the work is really on the ground, not about who can talk much. It strengthens our democratic credentials. So it's good to have a presidential debate, but not really to influence him because the work is actually on the ground.
I've already had my mind on who I want to vote for. So actually, they haven't really changed my mind in any way. What I really want them to say, they are not saying. The things that we really need to tackle, especially on education, it seems like they're all saying the same thing. When you come here, we do the same thing. What my grandfather did, that's what I'm also doing here. And it's actually not changing anything about the way we think, the way we do our things. It's still the same thing. So if they're able to change the way we do our things, I think that's what we really need. And they are actually not saying that.
If the debate comes on like what they've been doing, it will in a way equip us as to who exactly we are to trust and who exactly we are to vote for. I used to think about some things that were not a fact. But when the debate came on, especially the first one that, I don't know what I did, I think they did it at Tamale. Yeah. You know, some facts were brought to book, and what the debate is bringing out is really educating us what is really going on in Ghana.
My mind is already made up, so I don't think what they said can influence me. What they said, I don't think all that they said they can do them all. Some of them are trying to win our votes. It's politics, so they are trying to say things that will convince us. But me, I know the kind of economy that I am in now. So at the end of the day, my decision is being made and there is nothing that can be done about it.
I'd already made up my mind to vote for someone, but it has really opened my eyes because I've seen that there are a lot of ideas out there. And I'm very impressed with the policies and ideas of some of the candidates. So, but it hasn't really changed my mind. I'm still for who I'm for.
Meanwhile, ahead of the IEA presidential debate on Wednesday, it was originally scheduled for tomorrow, but it has been postponed to Wednesday. We sampled views from members of the public on whether these debates have achieved their desired impact.
Well, I think it is. It should influence to a very large extent most of us who will vote for. So I think that it's worth the time. Me, for one, I'm waiting for information. I'm waiting for someone to convince me in a certain area. Unfortunately, I didn't see the first round, so this is my chance to.
The debate will influence our voting pattern because basically the candidates are expected to give us what they can do. I mean, for Ghanaians, for maybe betterment of their lives. So I believe it will influence.
Okay, then say that in a sentence.
Yes, it has changed my voting because I know the person I was going to vote for, but based on the debates, now my mind has changed for different candidates. It elaborates, it tells us how each candidate have a policy for the nation, what they are going to do and what they can do for the people, for the benefit of the people.
For academic purposes, yes. But in terms of its relevance, if it would inform voter choices, I don't see it, because if it was relevant, then you would see the CPP candidate, Dr. Abu Sakara Foster, winning the elections. But they will tell you that, oh, he's in the wrong party. So if the IEA debate was relevant, it should move him from the third bottom to the first position in terms of the polls, but no, he's still stuck down there.
Okay, the IEA debate, it has its target audience. Looking at the caliber of people who listen to the IEA debate and those they try to influence, I think it can have an impact. It's about policies. It's not about, excuse me to say, those who don't know what the policies are about. So yes, the IEA debate, it has actually affected the way I'm going to vote for whoever I want to vote for. I had a passion for that person, but seeing him and the way he articulated the issues, it gives me more confidence that a vote for the person is actually not a vote that have been thrown away.
It's very good because the way they have been doing it, we are learning who is performing better, and then the message that they have to, they are sharing it. The way you will talk to me, and then the way I will listen to you, and then the message that you have. If the message is good, I know that this message can change my life, and then there's something very good in it. Yeah, definitely it will change my mind, and maybe I'll vote for you.
Well, all is set for the IEA presidential debates, which has now been rescheduled for Wednesday at the banquet hall here in Accra. PNC candidate Hassan Ayariga, who earlier said he will not be present due to ill health, has had a change of heart. Nonetheless, a research fellow at the IEA Ransford Jampo says Ayariga's absence would have had no effect on the debate.
We are all set. We are fully prepared to organize presidential debate, and we expect guests and participants to be seated between 6 and 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, and it's going to be held at the banquet hall. The key issue that is going to dominate discussions there is the issue regarding good governance and democracy, and we expect our presidential hopefuls to be able to articulate their position on this, and we expect that at the end of the day the Institute would have contributed its quota to promoting good governance and democracy and political accountability.
Ransford Jampo said IEA has not received any official information from the PNC flag bearer.
We've related with him, we've dealt with him for the past 8 months. And so if there is a reason why he may want to chicken out, the appropriate thing he could have done was to have officially communicated it to us rather than going public without our notice. So, be that as it may, I think the Institute has braced itself up, and we're going to organize a debate with or without him. And as of Friday, we had a meeting with the presidential aspirants of the representatives of the presidential aspirants, and the consensus and agreement was that yes, they were all going to be present. They were all going to avail themselves, for the debate.
A political science lecturer of the University of Ghana, Brahima Awiesu Emarana, and director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrea Wunu, shared with Joy News their expectations on Wednesday's IEA debate.
I want them to actually talk of issues of accountability. Issues of corruption must be tackled very, very well. In fact, the last IEA debate, I don't think it was given the necessary prominence that I wanted them to talk about it. And the issues of rule of law and all those things. I expect them, when it comes to good governance, they should talk about those things. If you look at what happened in 1992, 96, 2000, and 2004, 2008, and now 2008, we expect that our democracy should just grow better. And I'm sure that we've been growing for each elections. And I expect that our democracy, I can say, if we want to look at theoretically, we can say Ghana is a mature democracy now, because we've gone through these elections 3 or more times.
Debates are also intended to help us address outstanding issues. And so if we go by this, then we expect that responses that come from the debaters should inform the public on who, in their view, is a better candidate. That, to me, is what the debate is all about.
When Joy News visited the venue for the program, workers were busy putting finishing touches to preparations to make the banquet hall ready for the debate.
Right, so we now have the official release from the Institute of Economic Affairs postponing the presidential debate to Wednesday, 21st of November. And the press release reads, the IEA said the change was as a result of a 5-day national mourning period declared by the president to honor the memory of the late former Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. According to the statement, the new date was arrived at in consultation with the leadership of the three parties who have expressed their full commitment to participating in the debate: the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, the New Patriotic Party, and the Convention People's Party, the CPP. This new date falls outside the mourning period set by His Excellency the President. Congress NDC, at its latest Setting the Record Straight program, has accused the opposition New Patriotic Party of introducing violence and tribalism into the country, emphasizing that Ghana would not be safe with Nana Akufo-Addo as president. They also accused the NPP of a grand scheme to pit religious bodies against the NDC.
Currently, what is going on is that the MPP, ever since we came back to power, from day one, have been manipulating negative sentiments from the established institutions, whether they are religious organizations, the judiciary, the media, against the NDC. In the last week, we have even been pitched as anti-Christian, anti-God. Jesus Christ of Nazareth, have mercy on them. They don't know what they are saying.
It was disclosed that the All Die Be Die slogan of the NPP started way back during the time of late Obeche Bilamte. They said the NPP, as always, will do anything, including telling lies, to win power, chanting "All lie be lie" to support this claim.
All lie be lie. All lie be lie. You know that this particular election 2012, the candidate of the MPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the chairman of the party, Jacob Echebilamte, the two of them coming together epitomize what the MPP philosophy of all die be die truly represents. When today you are hearing Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP going all over the country shouting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS. That is what you call all lie be lie.
Fifi Kwete took a swipe at Dr. Bawumia not to dream of being the next president, since the NPP only elects Akans for the presidency.
I feel very sorry for Dr. what's his name? Mahmoud Bawumia. Is that it? All he needs to do is to take a good look at what happened to Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. Is Mahmoud Bawumia actually dreaming that in the unlikely event of MPP winning power, somehow, after Akufo-Addo had run his term, he, Mahmoud Bawumia, will be made the candidate of the MPP? Are you dreaming, Mahmoud Bawumia? Are you dreaming? You don't know the party in which you are. You don't understand that if you are not an Ashanti or an Achim, you have no chance.
A book titled Lest We Forget was also launched at the NDC's Set the Record Straight.
So working the lines to try and get you some reactions from the New Patriotic Party to that particular news conference. Meanwhile, the New Patriotic Party at a separate news conference says that President John Dramani Mahama lacks the political will to confront and fight corruption within the presidency, government and the NDC party, because he has been unable to offer credible answers to serious allegations of corruption raised against his person. According to the NPP, many of the processes President Mahama led in government as vice president were deeply tainted with suspicions of corruption for his personal gain.
The NPP said the president cannot be trusted to negotiate transactions on behalf of the state because there is no evidence that the NDC has achieved value for money in its 4-year term in office. The NPP alleged that in 2010, then Vice President Mahama secretly wrote to the Pearson Capital Group prepared to commit Ghana to international loan exposures without the knowledge of President Mills.
Vice President John Dramani Mahama helped Amajaru to get back their suspended cocoa trading license, even though the matter shocked the late President Mills and Ghana so much that it merited mention in a State of the Nation address. The matter of British Foreign Office officials lobbying then Vice President John Mahama to drop the case raised serious questions in the UK. Yet, Ghanaians have been denied an investigation of exactly what motivated the move against the collective interest of Ghanaians.
The NPP also referred to allegations made by former Attorney General Martin Amidu that late President Mills agreed to an investigation of the then Vice President on inflated aircraft purchase, which never saw the light of day.
The NDC government of President Mahama is yet to deny the categorical assertion by former Attorney General Martin Amidu that President Mills agreed to an investigation of the then Vice President. We are told that under pressure, a 3-man committee headed by Mr. Abua never saw the light of day, even though it had terms of reference drafted to investigate the inflated aircraft purchase. Was HE President John Dramani Mahama ever aware of attempts from within the presidency to investigate him?
The NPP also touched on payment of judgment debts.
The fact that no serious actions are being taken against appointees, including the Honorable Barton Odro, for example, who has been directly cited as undermining his boss to avoid investigations and prosecutions, shows how weak the president is when it comes to confronting corruption. Or is it because his own appointees feel he has more questions to answer than them? So we have a moral blackmail situation? Why are the cases in court not being pursued with vigor? And why is the Attorney General actively stalling the Public Accounts Committee?
The NPP suggests the president has more questions to answer on some transactions with Huawei Technologies and the sale of Merchant Bank, among others.
Right, so hopefully we'll get some reaction from the NDC as well to the NPP's news conference. But a day after the burial of her beloved father, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, his only daughter speaks to Joy News on an exclusive interview in which she talks about her father's diagnosis as well as her impressions on the state's handling of his burial process.
As culture and tradition dictates, many more people continue to march into the private home of the former vice president whose mortal remains now rests here. Very close to the grave is the living room in which his widow Hajia Ramatu Mahama sits, obviously broken within but coming around as sympathizers console her. Salma Habib Mahama, an only daughter, explained to me the first time news of her father's death broke, she was picking up her children from school and had no idea how she managed to drive from Laboni to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in her state of shock and confusion, but it turned out false until the next 2 days.
Friday morning, when I went to his residence in Cantonments, and I was told we had to rush to Kolebu, and then when we went there, my dad, the doctor said my dad had died. There I saw my dad lying down with a smile on his face, and I couldn't believe it. So I asked the doctor to double check to see whether he had died, and the doctor said he did. So I had to take my mom home to console her. She was heartbroken. She was very heartbroken.
The cause of death is known by none except the doctors.
They said he had low blood, which I don't know what the significance was. So he was kind of sweating a lot and feeling dizzy. So they said the low blood, I don't know whether the low blood affected his heart. We're not giving details. I've never really seen my dad seriously sick like this. This is like a 2-week sickness that is a shock. Like, I miss my dad so much, but I know he's in the hands of Allah.
Salma discounts claims that being on life support means one is as good as dead, as believed by a section of the public. She said her mother was once on life support, but regained consciousness and is now well and much stronger. Although she holds an MBA, she knows her father wished for her to have a PhD. Although he is not around to push her to get it, she hopes to get it soon. For her, the most important thing is an optimism that her father is in heaven and the necessary traditions will be observed accordingly.
When they are going to bury them, they don't allow women. So I saw the digging. Women don't normally go around to see it. But my other siblings were all crying because we'll never see our father again except on the day of judgment. After the burial, tomorrow they're going to have 3 days, and Sunday they're going to have the 1 week, and after which we'll go back to Accra to wait for the 40 days. That will be somewhere in December, around ending of December. Thank His Excellency John Mahama, the Vice President, our father, ex-President John Kufuor, his wife, presidential candidate MPP, Vice Presidential candidate Baumia, and all the party members, everybody who make this possible. We say, may Almighty Allah bless them all.
All is said and done, and here lies the remains of a man everyone has described as generous and kind. The people of Ghana say, may his soul rest in peace, for the Lord giveth and taketh. For Joy News, Gifty Ando Apia.
Now today, November 19, is World Toilet Day. You may be one of many people who are likely to take for granted access to toilets. But for at least 2.5 billion people across the world, a clean toilet is not their reality. And what may seem at first to be an inconvenience is more about discomfort, indicating a strong correlation between poor sanitation and poverty.
Many women across the world just want a place where they can have privacy, a clean place to decompress and take a break from their husbands, children and neighbors. And here is a fact that will not do much to whet your appetite as you enjoy your dinner. Approximately 1.1 billion people defecate in the open. Framing these numbers a different way, 1 out of every 3 people on the planet does not have access to a toilet. According to World Toilet Day organizers, 1.1 billion people around the world defecate out in the open, majority of them living in rural areas. These people have no private place to defecate and urinate. They use fields, bushes, ditches or railway tracks, or even a plastic bag. The health impact of inadequate sanitation is massive. According to the World Health Organization, diarrheal diseases alone are responsible for the deaths of 2 million people every year, and it's estimated that 88% of those deaths are attributable to unsafe water supply, sanitation, and hygiene. Other impacts associated with inadequate sanitation include an estimated 260 million people infected with schistosomiasis, a potentially fatal parasitic infection spread through contact with contaminated water. And 50 countries around the world still report annual outbreaks of cholera to the WHO, a bacterial infection spread via poor sanitation that causes death by dehydration if not treated soon enough.
In business news, the classroom sessions for My Business 2012 today entered its second and last week. Over the period, participants have had access to the knowledge and skill of some notable entrepreneurs, including the country director of EcoBank Development Corporation, Mike Kobala. He coached the participants on how to attract investments to achieve operational efficiency in their businesses. My Business 2012 is in partnership with the MTN Ghana Foundation. A graduation ceremony will be held for participants on December 16, 2012. The licensed private pension companies would, from the end of this month, start collecting the 5% second-tier contribution which SNIT currently mobilizes and lodges at the Bank of Ghana.
It comes after the Pensions Regulatory Authority approved over 100 of the about 180 schemes applications. Chief Executive Sampi Yale explains to Business Report they are currently issuing out letters of confirmation to the approved institutions to also begin their monthly collections from employers. He further explained measures have been instituted to ensure a smooth transition.
The next level is the verification and other things that we are talking about so that they can aid the computation and transfer of the money. The other one that you are asking is how do they now deal with the employers? You understand? The employers have been dealing with SNIT so far. You see, there's going to be a certain meeting between our board, ourselves, and those trustees so that we can have a seamless transition. You see what I mean? So that now we can direct them where the employers can pay the monies.
According to him, it is better late than never.
If anybody is waiting on the fence, anticipating that as from this month he start collection so that he can pay off anything, that person is wrong. And that is the kind of trustees I'm looking at for. I love that earlier the better. But I also want to tell you that for me, protecting your pension, your future is utmost far bigger than the earlier the better.
Employers have within 14 days from the end of each month to transfer their contributions to the schemes on behalf of their workers. This implies SSNIT would also, from this time, collect solely the mandatory 13.5% first-year contribution.
The Managing Director of Access Bank Ghana, Dolapo Ogundimu, is encouraging commercial banks to provide financial support for infrastructure development in educational institutions.
According to him, besides boosting the capacity of the citizenry, providing financial support for infrastructure development will also bring gains to the economy. He was speaking at the bank's handing over ceremony of a 5-story lecture complex to the University of Professional Studies.
We believe that we have to play a role in infrastructural development of the country in which we operate, in all countries that we operate in. This is the second project financing for this institution, and we hope that we will continue to be providing support for them to ensure that they meet the teaming needs of the student populace. We see ourselves as partners in advancement in Ghana. We will continue to support the university, and like I said earlier, and other stakeholders in the economy to ensure that development is as planned. Thank you very much.
The structure was also partly funded from students' contributions.
Total has announced the sale of its 20% stake in a Nigerian offshore oil field to the Chinese state-owned Sinopec. The French oil firm said its Chinese counterpart was paying $2.5 billion for the stake in the OML 138 oil block. I'll bring you some smart investment tips.
The sale, which will be paid
Good evening. My name is Rashidat Kadiri. Time now to talk sports on the news. So Ghana international Harrison Afful, he missed out on lifting a third Champions League trophy after his side at Esperance Sportive de Tunisia missed out and lost to Al Ahly in the during the weekend because he was not there to play for Esperance Sportive de Tunis. The match ended 2-1 in favor of Al Ahly. The first round actually ended in a 1-1 draw. So this is how Harrison Afo's side, Esperance Sportive would have the chance or the opportunity to lift a 5th Champions League title with TP Mazembe. That's a 2011-2012 Globe Premier League best player. Daniel Niaje, he has employed to Congo to join TP Mazembe on a 2-year deal. We'll bring you details of that and more in our subsequent bulletins. But before I go, after yesterday's super clash between Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko, which ended in a stalemate, Kotoko have managed to get up to the third, or they managed to move to third place. But before then, results of the 7th week of the Globe Premier League, Asante Kotoko Hearts of Oak, of course, joined 0-0 there at the Barbera Sports Team. Wa All Stars 1, Ebusua Dwarfs 2, RTE 1, Tema Youth 1, Liberty Professionals 2, Mediama SC 1, Amidas Professionals 1, Arsenals 0, Ashgold 0, Eduana Stars 1, Heart of Lions 1, King Faisal 0, and Bekum Chelsea 2, Edubiaste FC 1. So Liberty Professionals on cloud 9 over there in the league, and this is how the table stands, okay? So Bekum Chelsea are on top. They have 14 points. Then comes Mediama SC, who are second place with 13 points. Eduana Stars are 4th with Ashgold in 5th position. Liberty Professionals are also 5th there. And then Kotoko have moved to 6th place on the league table. So between Kotoko and the first team, which happens to be Bekum Chelsea, it's only 3 points. So if Kotoko can win their next match, next 2 matches consecutively, then that could mean that they could jump to the top of the league table to be able to defend the title they won last season. So the second half of the league table sees Wa All Stars, RTU, and Bekum Arsenals occupying the 14th, 15th, and 16th positions respectively. With Bekum Arsenals, who are bottom place, they have just 3 points. RTU have 4 points, and then Wa All Stars, they have 6 points. So that will do it for sports for tonight. We'll be back with what's happening with Daniel Niaje in TP Mazembe, as well as his compatriot Gladson Awako. They are both going to play for the 4-time African champion. Stay tuned. Coming up next in the news is the international segment.